Hi class, welcome again to another session on rehabilitation engineering. So in the last video, we discussed the various components of a prosthesis. We also discussed what are prostheses and how they are different from orthoses. So let us move on to discuss hand replacement prosthesis today. So hand is the part of your upper limb that lies above your wrist, right? The palm and the finger part of your upper arm is called the hand. Right, so hand replacement is necessary for amputees, below wrist amputees, right? Those who need, those who want to control grasps, or those who want to perform grasp, and pick up objects and do day-to-day activities. So for them, hand replacement is required. The functional or the mechanical hand of a prosthetic limb are often attached to a wrist unit, and that is operated by cable control, right? And it consists of a plastic spring control device that has fingers which are controlled using control cables from the prosthesis. The thumb is replaced either by opposition position or by adduction in grasping larger or smaller objects respectively. So for larger objects you need the palmar grasp, and for the smaller objects you need the key grip. So if thumb is adducted, that is, if the thumb moves towards your palm, then between the thumb and the palm, the person can hold, or the hand can hold, smaller objects such as a fork or a pen. And if the thumb moves towards your little finger, then that movement is called as an opposition movement, because it is opposing the closing of the fingers, right? So thumb is resisting the closing of the fingers into a knuckle. So what happens is, when thumb is opposing and the fingers curve around, so the hand forms a C shape, and objects are placed within that C, and the hand grasps. So that's how the movement occurs. Sorry, excuse my son outside. Now these movements are called the pinch grasp or the three-jaw chuck pinch, right? It's also called as the tripod grasp, because mainly for all these grasps you require the thumb, the index, and the middle finger. So even if the ring and the little finger do not participate, you can still effectively perform key grip and palmar grasp. Now there are different types of terminal devices. One that's called as the cosmetic hands. So that is just for namesake, you just cosmetically you can see that the person has got a hand, but it doesn't perform any functional tasks. And other ones are body powered hooks and hands, so which are voluntarily opening hands or voluntarily closing hands. And then you have the externally powered hooks and hands. One of the ways of external powering is myoelectric arm. So we shall have a discussion on all these types of devices now. So voluntarily opening and closing hooks are often reused to replace a lost hand, but they are not cosmetically very appealing, right? They look kind of robotic. However, functionally they are very good. So if functionality is given priority over cosmesis, then such hooks have a wide range of advantage, such as their lightweight. Their voluntarily closing hooks are slightly heavier than the voluntarily opening ones, but still they are lighter than a hand, right? So they are very lightweight, very efficient to control. Pinch force of course depends upon the rubber fingers that are placed in the voluntarily opening hook, and the voluntary force that an individual exerts, because the individual has to initiate the grasp, and then the hooks can exert a force of up to 25 or 30 newtons, right? So pinch movement can be very precise. So grasping finer objects can be done precisely using such hands. They are very durable, and most importantly they are low maintenance and do not require frequent servicing. Therefore, once you have it and once you get used to using it, you do not have to pay much attention to it, and then cleaning and all is quite easy. So these are some examples of how voluntary like how the hooks look like. Like I said, they are not cosmetically very appealing, but they can do finer grasps very easily. So there are levels of lever for attachment. So these levers attach the control cables, which are controlled by the hand, by the user. Sorry. So then you also have the above elbow prosthesis. So above elbow prosthesis has a unit for the upper arm and a unit for the forearm that is connected through an elbow joint. Alright, so you have a joint like structure at the elbow level. So there's an upper arm and a forearm unit. The upper arm of the above elbow prosthesis have a double walled socket which can with a locking elbow unit laminated on the socket, right? So it can be like, you know, the stump that is available on the upper arm. This can where the above elbow prosthesis can exactly fit into that stump and take over as the hand. So since above elbow amputees lack independent elbow flexion and extension, so therefore mechanical joints, elbow joints are provided, which is activated, locked and unlocked by cable control system, right? And this cable control system is called as Bowden dual control cable system, because it controls both movement of the elbow as well as the terminal device. So whether you're using a hook or a hand, so this Bowden dual control can control both the elbow flexion and extension as well as the operation of the hand. So you know, it's quite convenient for people who don't have you know, who are amputees in the upper arm. So prescription of above elbow prosthesis should be done with lot of care, and since, you know, if it's a unilateral amputee, then most of their activities of daily living, the unilateral amputee uses the good arm, and they are used to doing it with their good arm, or the arm that is available for them to do. So in that case, if you give them a above elbow prosthesis for doing functional tasks, then it becomes arduous task for them. It becomes really difficult for them to actually train themselves for using prosthesis, because human mind is designed in such a way that if there's a job that you can do easily, you wouldn't want to go the hard way, right? You wouldn't want to do the hard work. Plus, you know, financially these are quite expensive. So if a person does not actually need these these prostheses for functional tasks, then it is okay. So often a unilateral amputee is happy to have a cosmetically appealing hand, and you know, it's just for the namesake, you know, saying that okay, this person has an arm kind of an opinion, and they use their other arm to do functional tasks. I hope you had a very fruitful session learning about, sorry for the vehicle. I hope you had a very fruitful session learning about the above elbow prosthesis and an introduction to the hand prosthesis. We shall discuss more in the subsequent videos. I hope you take care till then.